Okay, so let's get going with some of the answers to this. I may ask some of you to type your answers in the chat or turn around the microphone and answer. Did anyone get the answer to question 1? You might just type your answer in the chat if you have it. Anybody?
Is it x equals 7?
Find out now. That's only one person. Stella, did you also get an answer? Okay, Matthew got the same.
Yeah, I got the same one.
Okay, so let's have a little look at the method that I would use. You can have your own method here. I think it's a good idea to balance the equation when we do adding and subtracting to one side. So I don't want this -5 here. I kind of want it over here. So I'm going to add 5 to this side and add 5 to this side. So I've kept the equation balanced, means I haven't changed it. I'm just going to add 5 to both sides. Now you may have a different method. Some people talk about bringing stuff over equal signs and changing signs. You can use your method. This is just the way I do it. And then I say, well, -5, add 5, that's disappeared. And we're left with just 2x on the left-hand side of the equals. And 9 plus 5 is 14. So 2x's are 14. So that means to find 1, I would divide both sides by 2. So x is 7. Now, I don't know, has anyone used that method before? But that's the method I will be using to solve algebra. It's probably more correct because if you just change the sides, you actually have changed the equation. But if you do the same to both sides, you haven't changed the equation. But anyway, yes, x is 7 is correct. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. So you could keep a track of your marks there. That was worth 3 marks. Use substitution to find the value. So here's my values for x and y, and I'm going to replace x and y. Now, I would use 2, and I'd use brackets here. So x has become 3, and y has become 2, plus 3. Okay, so x and y have been replaced. So if you want, you can take notes on this, but I would probably put in, if you get a question wrong, maybe then take the correction down. Otherwise, you just watch and correct. All right. For any of these questions, as I'm doing them, if you have the answer, do type it in the chat. You don't have to say them out loud. Do type them in the chat, yeah. So I noticed that Stella, Matthew, Jasmine, and Vanessa have been putting in answers. None from the rest of you guys. So let's see some more answers. So a few people with 3 here. 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 3. Okay, so this is looking like 6. Take away 6 is 0. Plus 3 gives me an answer of 3. So we're 3 marks again here. Okay, thanks. A few more people with answers. Okay, so formula, also known as nth term. I don't know if you came across that particular terminology last year. We'll be doing it this year anyway, so we have a few people with formulas in. Okay, looking. Yes, so Matthew, you kept these 2 lines separately. You want to relate the 2 into one formula, so you kind of have it, but not quite. The way I would do this is, yes, I noticed the jumps in y. So y is increasing by 4 each time. So if it's increasing by 4 each time, that means there's something got to do with a multiple of 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16. Now, if I think about those, 4, 8, 12, and 16, they're all just 1 away from the answer. So my formula must be 4 times whatever x is plus 1 away from the answer. Now, there's a method of going backwards here. There's a few different methods of finding that formula, but that is a way of doing it. Okay, so y is equal to 4x or 4n plus 1, either is okay. These are x's and y's, so you probably should use x's and y's, but it does say the nth term, so you can use n as well. Okay, so either is fine. Okay, good. A lot of people got that. Sweet. All right, so perimeter and area. So if you're typing your answer to this one in the chat, use P for perimeter and A for area. If you can type it in now, that'd be great. Okay. All right, so we're looking at 52 and 36 here. All right, so let's split it up into two areas. This is compound shape, which means more than one shape put together. A bit like a compound angle, if you've heard of that. So this has got length and width of 4 and 3. I'm going to do area first. This has got a length and width of 4 and 10. So 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 10 is 40. Put those two together, and I have 52 centimeters squared, and that's my area. So well done. A lot of people got that. For the perimeter, well, it's not really a tricky perimeter question, is it? You just add up all the bits on the outside, and you get 36 centimeters. Okay, so that's page 1 done. Total marks on that page would be 15 marks, so you can give yourself a mark out of 15. That question was worth 6 marks. So 3 and 3. All right, moving on to question 5. Please be on time, folks. 12. The timetable is a bit weird, but 12:30 is this class start time. All right, so moving on to area and circumference. Stella thinks it's 113 or so. I didn't give any, on Management says 1240, is it? Oh, okay. Maybe it's my fault. Oh, it does. Oh, that's my bad. Ah. All right, yeah, 12:30. That's the class time. I'll fix that. So that's my fault. Sorry about that. Okay. Pi r squared for the area here. So area is going to have to be pi. I'm just going to use 3.14. I didn't specify how to round this. I probably should have. Multiply by the radius. So the radius is going to be half of this, isn't it? It's going to be 6 squared. So the area then is going to be 3.14 times 6 squared, which I think 113.04 is what I got as well. Okay. So well done for you guys on the area. And circumference is pi times the diameter, of course. So 12, so C for circumference, 12 times 3.14, and that should be a fairly straightforward one. And we get 37.68 centimeters. This should be centimeters squared. There's our two answers. Okay, there is our two answers. Interestingly enough, on the subject of pi, of course, you probably should be aware of where pi comes from. It's quite an amazing number.
Sorry. I think it's meters and not centimeters.
Oh, was it meters? Oh, you're right. Yeah, sorry. I just automatically went to centimeters. Yeah, it was weird. Scale there. Yeah, okay, meters. Yeah. Pi, of course, is an amazing number. It's nature's number, and it's irrational, which means it's a decimal with no end to it, and yet it occurs everywhere in nature. It's the relationship between, it's a ratio, isn't it? The relationship between their circumference, distance, any circumference of any circle in the world, and if you divide it by its diameter, you will get pi. So any circle from the bottom of your glass to the Earth itself Earth is actually quite close to a perfect circle. It's not that much of a oval shape. It's pretty close to a circle. Anyway, I got distracted. Highest common factor. So that previous one was worth 4 marks, 2 marks, and 2 marks. All right, highest common factor of this. Okay, so factors. There's a couple of ways we can work this out. You can list out the factors if you want. You can use prime factors. Perhaps we'll use a prime factor tree just to see how that will work. So I'm going to use a prime factor tree for this. You probably can just look at these two numbers, most of you, and just find the highest common factor. Give me two numbers multiplied to give 36. I'm thinking 4 and 9. Two numbers multiplied to give 4, 2 and 2. Two numbers multiplied to give 9, 3 and 3. Okay, that's prime, prime. They're all prime. Sweet. I'll move on to 63. I know 7 times 9 is 63. I'm already seeing 9 in common here anyway, but we'll finish it off. And 3 times 3 is 9, so I'm left with 7, 3 and 3. So if you do it this factor tree method, which is usually used if these numbers are bigger, if we use the factor 3 method, I know that 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 is going to give 36. And you can check that in the calculator if you want, but it does. And I know that 7 times 3 times 3 gives 63. Okay? And then I just look at what numbers are in common in both lists. 3 is there twice in both lists. So therefore, the highest common factor is 3 times 3, which is 9. Now, interesting enough, I don't know if you've used this before, but you can use this same method to find the lowest common multiple, the LCM. The lowest common multiple then can follow on from that. You take the highest common factor, which was 9, and then you multiply what's left over, the 2, and the 7. And that will give us the lowest common multiple. So 9 times 2 is 18, times 2 again is 36. And then I need to do 36 times 7, which if you have a calculator, you can do faster than me probably, but I think it's 252-ish. 252 is actually the lowest common multiple, which wasn't asked in that question. It's just an interesting aside if you forgot that method. It is how you do it, using the prime factor tree. Okay, so that was worth 3 marks just for the number 9. So I see Sam, Jasmine, and Matthew, Stella, Vanessa, you all got that right. Very good. Need some answers from the rest of you guys. Some have put in some, but some have put in nothing so far. So it'll be good to see some answers to question 7. Let's see if anyone has an answer for the mean, or the range, or the mode, or the median. Maybe you can type it in the chat now. Okay, we're all right on the mean. I'm not going to do it out because you would have to add up all these numbers, and I'm not going to do that here, and then divide by how many there are, but the answer would be 29.2. You could round that to 29 if you want, but it didn't state. Range then, of course, is the largest number, take away the smallest number. I think the largest number is here at 75, and the smallest number is, where is it, 6. So we have 69 for the range. The mode then is the one that's there the most. That's going to be 22. And the median, well, list them from smallest to biggest, and I think 22 lies in the center of that as well. Yeah, so you're all on the right track. So there's 2 marks going for each of that. That's so that's our second page finished. The total marks on that second page is 15 as well. Okay. Next question. So we're on to probability now. Let's get some answers. Stella has the answers to question A in. Okay, so let's look at question A. 6 is obtained on the first roll, so there's 6 possible outcomes. I want one of those, so that's a 1 chance in 6. Good. Second one, 2 or 3 is obtained, so there's 6 possible outcomes again, and there's 2 we want, so that's 2 out of 6, and of course we would simplify that down to 1 out of 3. Next one, 3 6s in a row are obtained. And I do see a couple of right answers here for 3 6s in a row. It is 1 over 216, yes. Why is it that? Well, if I roll a dice once, I have a 1 chance in 6. And then if I roll a dice twice, that same thing has a 1 chance in 6. Now, okay, Robin. Now, how do these always make 1 in 36? Then, well, if you think about it, you could draw your outcomes table, couldn't you? You got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you listed them all out, so if I rolled a 1 and a 1, a 1 and a 2, and so on and so on and so on, you could see that there's going to be 36 different outcomes. And how many of those is going to be a double 6? There's only going to be one of them down here in the corner. So that's 1 out of 36. And if you did that table again, a three-way table, you would find a 1 and 2 and 6. So what we do is we multiply 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6. And this will give us the total number of outcomes, which is 1 out of 2, 1/6. And I'm sure you've done that before, most of you. Okay, question 9, some algebra. Interested by your algebra skills. Let's get some answers here for A, B, and C. Okay, so there's a mix of answers going on for these. I'm not agreeing on all of them. I see a couple of 24s for B, a couple of -4/3 for A's. Okay, we are pretty late. Still pretty late. Okay. Let's look at the method for the first one. So if you weren't able to do these, perhaps you can make a note of the method, but we're not going to start our workbooks properly till tomorrow, so if you want, you can just wait as well. All right, so this is a +5. If I want to get rid of this +5, I need to subtract +5. Why did I choose 5? Well, it's on the same side as the x. I want x on its own at the end of this answer. I don't want this -3, and I don't want that +5. So if I don't want it, I get rid of it by doing the opposite thing. 5 take away 5 leaves me with nothing. -3x is still there. 9 take away 5 is 4. All right, I have -3 times x here, so I divide by -3 both sides. -3 into -3 goes once, so I am left with this 1x and -4/3. Or you can change it to a decimal, -1.3 recurring. This is the more accurate form, so try and leave it as a fraction. It's probably better. So yeah, most of you got that right that typed in an answer. All right, let's see if Jasmine and Matthew and co are right on part B with a +24 is the answer. Well, now I have 2 x's here and 3 x's here. That is the difficulty. I only want x's on one side, really. So I'm going to get rid of the smaller x's. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides of the equal sign. That disappears. 5 comes down. 3x take away 2x is x. That 19 is still here. Add 19 to both sides. And that's gone. And we're left with 24 is, or 25. 24 is equal to x. And that is our answer for that one. So you guys are right. Let's do the last one. I'll just do it up here and larger. There's a couple of ways you could do this. You could start off by dividing both sides by 4, but I think that's going to leave an awkward fraction here. So I'm going to multiply into the bracket. I'm going to expand this bracket to get rid of it using the distributive rule, so multiplying both things. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times this -5 is -20. Now it's just a two-step equation. Need to get rid of this -20, need to get rid of this 8. I'll start with the 20, add 20 to both sides. That's gone. I got 27 here, 7 plus 20, and that's equal to 8x still. So I need to divide both sides by 8. 8 fits into 8 once. Now 8 fits into 27. I can just leave it like this if I want, but I know 8 fits into 27 3 times with a remainder of 3, I think. So that's 3 and 3/8 are 3.375. Can't see who got that right. Vanessa, you have that one. Sam, you have that one. Anyone else get it? Burgundy, you got it. They're the only three I see with that answer typed in. Well done, you three. Fantastic. All right, so we finished that page. That page was also worth 15 marks, if you want to give yourself. So each of these, A, B, and C, is worth 3 in question 9, and A, B, and C in question 8 is worth 2 each. All right. Moving along to question 10, which is our transformations question. Can anyone fully describe it? So Sam is going for an enlargement. So it's Krisha. Yeah, that's a very detailed answer. Okay, so most people think it's enlargement. P onto Q, so it's going from P to Q, so that's definitely getting bigger, so that's an enlargement, yes. So if we have an enlargement, we need to know how much bigger, and that's called the scale factor. The scale factor in this case, well, we can just count one side. This is 2 boxes here. This is 5 boxes, so that's 2.5 times bigger, isn't it? So the scale factor is 2.5, and we also need the center of the enlargement. To get the center of the enlargement, we would need a ruler, or you can probably just judge it by eye in this case. You join up the old shape and the new shape, the corners, so this top left corner with this top left corner, and it goes through to the origin, and I'll bring it further if I want, and I just join up those corners, but it is going to end up, those 2 corners joined up, and those 2 corners joined up, continue that line, and it looks like it's going through the origin, or 0, 0. So I'd say with center, 0, 0. Okay, so you need those 3 for 3 marks. If you said 1 out of 3, you get 1 out of 3. If you said 2, you get 2 out of 3. All right, and the last question. Without using your calculator, work out 7/8 plus 1/6. No, it's not the last question. Second last question, sorry. So if you 25 over 24s, give your answer as a mixed number. Okay, so always read the question fully. You'd lose a mark there, unfortunately, but you're right. The 1 and 1/24 is correct. But let's show you how to do it. 7/8 and 1/6. So we're talking about factors again here. 8 and 6. What's the lowest? Multiples here. What's the lowest common multiple of those two? Well, 48 definitely works, but I think 24 is. Yeah, you can use your cross multiply or butterfly method or whatever you want to say. Yeah. So we are on 24s. So 8 times 3 gives 24. So you got to multiply the top by 3 as well to give 21. 6 times 4 gives 24. So I multiply the top by 4. And I get 4. Now they have the same denominators. Now they're the same size, I suppose, of units. So 21 24ths and 4 24ths. There's 25 of them in total. Mixed number then, that fits in once with a remainder of 1. So we got 1 and 1/24. Yeah. Okay, Matthew, you need to simplify that. Yeah. And so do you, Akil? Yeah, you need to simplify. Okay, you did simplify. Okay. All right. On to, so that was another page, 7 marks, 3 for that, 4 for that. Okay, on to the last question. All right, so this is a more difficult algebra one. I wonder did anyone get this right? 12A, you can give your answers to 12A, that'd be great. Okay, well, 7/3s for 12a, so let's have a little look, see if you're correct. Probably the easiest thing here is, once again, to expand the brackets, multiply everything out. I'll just do it up here. I still have my 2x. I have -3 times x, so that's -3x's. And -3 times +2, -6. 5 times 3 on this side then gives me 15. And 5 times -2, which is -10. Okay. Now, I'm going to combine these two like terms. I think it's easy. 2x, take away 3x's. And if that leaves me with -1x, which is -x. Okay. And then I just need one x. So there's an x over here, and there's 10 x's over here. So I'm going to maybe add 10x to both sides, so I avoid having a -x. And I'll get rid of that. -x plus 10 x's, or it's 10x take away an x, is 9 x's. -6 still is equal to 15. Add 6 to both sides to get rid of this 6. So I've got 9x is equal to 15 plus 6 is 21. And then divide both sides by the 9. X is 21/9, which simplifies, I think, if you divide both top and bottom by 3 into 7/3. And you're correct. Keel, Jasmine, Burgundy, Vanessa. Did anyone else get that? I think that is the right answer. Very good. Okay, so for areas, any answers for areas? I see Stella has 20.28. The Keel has 26.56. Anyone else got an area? A few people haven't put anything on yet, I've noticed. Oh, it's either 26.56 or it's 20.3. It seems to be two options. Which one is going to be the correct one? All right, well, this is another compound shape, so I'm going to split it into two. There is an assumption here, which we should never do in maths, but the assumption is that this is exactly half a circle. It didn't state it in the question, possibly it should have, but yeah, we make that assumption. Based on that assumption, I'm going to say it is a half semicircle. This rectangle down here is going to be 7 times 2 in area, so that's 14 anyway. This circle has a diameter of 4, I think. 1 plus 4 plus 2. That has to equal the 7, so it is 4 centimeters across. Okay, so for area, I just need the radius, so that's going to be 2 centimeters. Okay. So if it was a full circle, pi radius squared. Yeah, if it's a full circle, in this case, I don't have a full circle, I only have half a circle, so it would be half that answer, pi radius squared. Okay, so pi is 3.14, the radius is 2 squared, and then divide by 2, so it's going to be 6.28. Added to my 7 times 2, which is 14. And that gives me 20.28. You could round it to 20.3 if you want, but 20.28. So those people with the 26.56, I don't think you got half a circle. You imagined it was a full circle. So remember, half a circle. Yeah. Okay, so the last question has 2 answers to it. So it is going to be 6 times a divided by 2 times b. 6 times a, well, that's 6 times 4. And 2 times b is 2 times 2. Now you could write that with brackets or like this. I could simplify before I do this. I know the answer is going to be 6. Anyway, you want to figure it out. For part b then, a squared, that's of course a times a, which is 4 times 4. Take away the 2, which is 14. That wasn't a nice, easy question to finish off with. Okay, each of those parts were worth 2 marks. So that was worth 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay. And that is the end of the formative exam.
Excuse me, sir.
Yo.
I lost my. Well, I don't think I actually properly lost it, but I couldn't find the paper that I did my math on. So could you send me the recording of this call so then I can check my work?
Yeah, I'll try and put it up on send me an email and I'll reply with it when it downloads.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Okay, so tomorrow, do bring in whatever work you did on that tomorrow, and I just want to have a quick check of it. So bring that in, that'd be great. And I'll have a little look. All right, but tomorrow you're going to be getting your math books, and Sam, what's the first page? I can leave up the answers to the first page. Yes?
I did that work on Google Doc.
Yeah, you'll have your device with you, won't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I can check it on that, or you can share it with me if you want.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So yeah, if you're not going to be in, just send through pictures or share it with me if you do it online. But when do we have you again? Oh, we do have you tomorrow, so that's good. We'll see you. Okay. All right. So that should have been easy enough for you if you're in the extended class. That should be pretty easy for you guys. We're looking to build on those kind of stuff. Those skills would have been taught to you since year 7. So you would have done year 7, year 8, and year 9. So you should be well have mastered them at this stage. I could have given that test to the current year 8s, and they should be doing okay in it. Okay, so if you're struggling on that, you will need to do a lot of work to keep up with this extended course, because it's quite large. What we're going to start off with is number, which is going to be a lot of revision really for most of you guys. The stuff that is in that topic, which I'll share more with you when you're in class tomorrow, the exact the plan a bit more. But the stuff that's in that topic is stuff like ratio, proportion, highest common factor, lowest common multiple, order of operations, types of numbers like primes, irrational, rational, integers, speed, distance, time, working with percentages, exponents, so indices and numbers with powers, and some surds, which are kind of numbers with square roots, and they will be all in this unit. So there's a lot to get through. Most of the stuff you've done, such as adding and subtracting fractions, that's going to be in it as well. And highest common factor, lowest common multiple. You would have done them all before. So we're going to go through it quite quickly. If we can get through it in the next, this week and 2 more weeks, we'll have an exam in the 4th week. I imagine we will get through it all, but there's going to be a lot of work to do in the meantime. So your first exam is probably going to be around September 14th or 15th. So that's pretty soon. So maybe in about 20 days time. And it's going to be on number, which is from mostly from the stuff you've already covered in year 8 and 9. So hopefully that won't be too intimidating. And then we'll get on to some algebra. And a lot of the extended course is algebra. It's probably makes up maybe a third of the entire exam, so it's quite a large portion of it. Okay. Any questions on that? Is there anybody working permanently online? I forgot to check the list before I started today. Anyone permanently online? Sam is asking what is the passing score. What do you mean for the first exam? If you're not getting at least a C, you probably shouldn't be in this class. Oh, for this, Oh, for this, you should be nearly getting everything right here if you're in extended. So a passing score, you're talking, I don't know, at least. There is no passing score for this. As an entrance exam, there's no pass-fail. It's just. Is this homework here marked on managed back? No, it's not. No, this is only a formative exam. Any formative or practice exam like this is just for me to see and you to see how well you're doing. So this one is to see where you're starting from. So if you found that this was difficult, that means you've a lot of catching up to do. But if you found this is okay and maybe you're getting around 70 or 80%, you're getting most things right, maybe a couple of questions wrong, you should be well able to keep up. Any other questions? Well, I think